Hi, good morning, everybody. Tony Poole, Synergy Technology. Welcome to Find Out More Friday. Today, I'm going to be presenting on dashboards, continuing from my first session. This one is entitled Editing the Tiles, and I want to just go through and do a shallow dive into some of the configuration for individual tiles that are available within the SuperOffice Dashboards. Okay, without further ado, let's have a look. So I'm in dashboards. We know from session 1 how to select getting into a dashboard. We know how to create the dashboard. What we don't know is how to define each of the tiles. Now, a tile, for definition, is each one of these individual areas here. So the first one I'm going to have a look at is the dashboard I've got on the screen now. So here I've got my companies updated this week. I'm going to edit this tile to give me some different information. So what I do is I go up to the menu bar here, task, and I have the option, fourth one down, add tile or edit tile. I'm going to select to edit the tile. Now it's going to go into edit mode. So in edit mode, my screen changes. You'll notice now in the top right-hand corner of each tile, I have a little pen or pencil on a piece of paper. So what I'm going to do is select my company's updated this week, and I'm going to press the pen. So now I'm editing that tile. I have two options with this tile. I can change my data set, and I can change my layout. So to start with, I'm going to amend the data set. And instead of being my company's updated this week, I'm going to look at all companies dated, and I don't want to look at the week, I want to look at the month. So I'm going to retitle it, all companies updated this month. Now changing the title, of course, won't change the data. So what I'm now going to do is we have our first option here, our contact is the current user, which is showing as me. So I'm going to remove that. So I just want to look at everything now that's been updated, but not this week. I want to select this month. Now, before I make the change on this, I just want to clearly explain each one of these fields. The first one is the field I've selected as my criteria, which on this one is a field called updated. The second option I have here, which is a drop-down field, is my operator. Is it before equals after, before a certain date? Before today, today, after today, this and next, this and previous, this, previous and next. So I have a number of options here, which will all define the next option that I have access to. So I'm going to leave it at this, and then I'm going to show you the third option here, which now I get day, week, month, quarter, half year, and year. So these will all be different dependent on the data field you pick. So if it's a date field, it'd be similar to what we've got now. If it was a number field, there would be a different set of options, and we'll see that as we step through these. So I'm going to ask for this month. Okay. Now the problem is, as we stand at this moment in time, and this is a test data system, it's going to come for November, and there's nothing in there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go for this year, purely for the example of demonstrating this. And then I'm going to say save. My dashboard has now changed. So it's showing me, and again, please remember, this is a test system. This is showing me that all of the people in the business, not in a specific team, not a specific person, all the people in the business have updated 8 record cards this year. Now, if that was the live business, that would be a serious point of concern, but this is a demo system, so I'm not going to worry about that for now. If I go back into edit mode, you saw there how I changed the data set. I'm not going to add anything into this one. I'll do that in a moment with another one. So I can also go to the layout. And in the layout, I can choose how my data is displayed. So I have chart types. This one is what we call the big number. So 1, 2, 3 is demonstrated as an icon, and it just shows me a number. But I could also show the data as a pie chart. It'll be a boring pie chart, I'm sure, because it's just breaking it down there by the different trades. But I could also have a list. I could have a column chart, a bar chart, a line chart, an area chart, a gauge chart, a column plus line, and a bar plus line. So I've got a number of options there that I can use. I'm counting up for totals, but I could be asking for an average or a sum or a min-max number. I also have the ability of sorting by and categorizing by. Both of these are drop-downs of the data available in SuperOffice. I also have an ability to give a title to the chart. The wording that I've put here is just a generic wording for the tile, but I might actually want to put a title on. So I might want to put the word total number. That will now appear above the chart. That's great if you're taking screenshots or outputting to JPEG or PDF or something to insert into management reports. I can have a legend. You can see the legend at the bottom here. I could decide not to have a legend and switch it off. I could decide to have a legend to the left or the right or the bottom or the top. So I'm just going to put that where it was, so below. I have a label, so the label that's being shown there, 5, 2, and 1. Do I want it as a number, a short number, a percent, a number and a percent? So let's just show you that, so number and a percent. So 5 of our records, which was 62.5% of our trade partners, our customers, or our business partners were updated. So that one's the customers, so 62.5%. I also then have options here for value to put the data into, whether it be a pie chart, a donut with a total, or a semicircle. And on these Find Out More Friday sessions, we can't cover all the options, but this is just showing you where to play with these things. And we also have the ability to reduce and increase the pie in its size, and also the label position. Do you want to bring it in or send it out? You can, of course, send it right the way out if you wish, but you've got to be careful with these designs to make sure they do fit on the screen. Okay, I'm going to cancel that one because I don't want to save it for now. It reverts back to what I had. So that was a really, really interesting feature there, which is worth noting. As I'm editing it, it's not saving it. So I'm allowed to play with the data and look at the display before I hit save. Don't worry if you make a mistake. And one of the great things with systems these days, you can always go in and delete it and put the original tile back and start to define it again. Okay, so that's really, really simple to use. And I've defined that one tile. What I want to do is show you a different tile now. I'm going to go to the sales overview, and I've got a monthly sales forecast here, and currently it's 0, so I've not been performing. But what I want to see is my whole team. So what I'm going to do now is say task, add edit, exactly the same as I did before on my synergy dashboard. I'm now in my sales overview one. I'm going to pick the sales forecast for this month, pick the pen, and I'm now going to decide what I want to show. So I don't want to show the month as my sales forecast. What I'd like to show is the year. And again, this is just to benefit from the test data that's in here, which is quite shallow. And to hit save, and that now is putting a projection on that we have £282,000 worth of weighted sales pipeline this year. So that's not sold, currently open. If I just go back into the criteria with the pen, the status is one of open or sold. I'm going to take sold off, so it's just open. There we go. So now I've got just open. What we have to remember, and I haven't done this on this tile, is we should change the heading to remind us what the data is that we're using on this panel or this tile. So I'm going to go back in. I'm going to go to the top, and I'm going to say business forecast, open sales this year. Always be descriptive, not necessarily for your benefit because you've done it, but for everybody else's benefit to clearly show what that tile is actually demonstrating to the business or to the team. Remember as well, from the designs that we did on session 1, you can, if something's too big, doesn't fit, we can always stretch the tile. make it that little bit bigger, and it will reorganize all the tiles accordingly. We can, of course, then move things around. So I might want to move this one down. This sometimes is easier said than done. And we can move tiles. I won't mess with that now because it's in edit mode. But you can see here that what I've done is opened up the tile to be 2 gaps wide and to give us the total, and I can read the heading now, which I couldn't before. I can return that at any point to where it was. And there we go, the resizing is done. So what I've done there is I've used 2 different tiles, and I've shown you how to change the criteria. What I can also do is turn these figures on this one as well, this tile, into graphics. So I'm going to go to Task. I'm going to edit this one again. And I'm going to decide that my layout is no longer a big number, but it is simply, we'll go for a pie chart. In fact, no, I think I'll go for a column chart. And then we've got the options. Do we sum it up? Well, currently it's a sum of a total. I'm going to count now. I'm not going to use a weighted amount. I'm going to use just the amount, so the full value of the sales opportunity. And I'm going to stack it by and sale category. Let's see what data's in there. Okay, there's nothing there that can give us anything really of value. Right. So I've not got the result I want. So I can see if there's another graph that will give me a more defined result of the data. So I've got this one here now. I'm going to change that to a sum. Let's see where that takes us. Okay, so here we have a gauge chart. This is now showing me a target. I'm not using targets. So remember, this data is test data. I've got a target on there of 1,000. I've got 271,000. So the chart is going off, or the gauge is going off the edge. I'm now in a position where I've changed from an account to a sum. So I've got the total amount. And let's see if we can compare to a target, a value. I'm going to put a value in here now. And let's say that the company's overall target is 350,000. Okay. I've now got my gauge chart. I've put my company target in, which is shown in the green area, and it's showing me on the dial where I'm up to on that gauge. I can change the colors now. I can change the label positions. I can put a different gauge style on if I want. There's only normal and basic there, but I can look at labels or numbers or percentages. Same as we saw before. And I can look at the label positions and where I put them, and then the colors, and then the mark of the target. I can put that to a different point. So let's say I put the target as being the full target there. So now I've moved that down. That's now showing me a true gauge of where I'm up to with £271,000 worth of weighted sales or unweighted sales, and where the total is. So just to recap, each tile has a data set and has a layout. With the data set, I can define the fields that I'm looking at. All of the defaults will come through whenever you pick a graph, but I can change them. It doesn't change the defaults. And I can change then the layout of the information and how it's presented to the users. When I then save it, of course, that now is published, and everybody that I've attached to this dashboard will now get that as a view of where the business is up to. If it's too small, I can very simply grab it, make it bigger, and the dashboard will reorganize itself. Okay, so that's given you a little bit of an oversight in how to edit a tile that you've added into a SuperOffice dashboard. I hope that was useful. The one thing I would say with dashboards is the more you play with them, the more you'll find. They're continually being invested in and developed because they're a key requirement of businesses now, to be able to see dashboards very simply to know where the business is up to. I hope that's been really useful. Thank you for watching Find Out More Friday. My name's Tony Poole. Have a great day.